You are a non-Muslim, yeah?
So I'm from an Orthodox Christian family, and I've not actually watched a lot of your videos. I've only just like come across you as a YouTuber, and that I've just joined this live stream because I've got a few questions and I'm just curious. So I'm just studying about the religion right now, and I'm in a bit of a conflict about like Christianity and Islam. But I think the main thing that I'm curious about is and confused about is it's about if. So in Galatians chapter 1, it says that even if another angel brings a gospel to you, you can't believe that because the Bible is the last revelation. So I guess what I'm asking is Prophet Muhammad, and I don't mean to offend you, this is just a pure curiosity, is he a false prophet, or how do we know that Prophet Muhammad is a prophet from God?
Yeah, okay. Well, obviously, if I'm a Muslim, I believe he's a true prophet from God, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is this: who wrote Galatians?
Paul.
Okay, that's the assumption first. Okay, let's take the assumption. Paul wrote Galatians. Who's Paul?
He's a follower of Jesus. He's not an eyewitness, but he's just a follower of Jesus.
Has he ever met Jesus when Jesus was walking?
No.
Okay. Did he learn directly from Jesus?
No.
Okay. So, do you know what he saw when he was on his road to Damascus?
He saw a vision.
He saw light.
He saw light, yeah.
And he's telling you, if an angel of light comes to you, don't trust what they say. But he had light coming to him, telling him what to say.
Yeah.
Does that not sound contradictory to you?
It does, yeah.
Okay, so why is the light of Mr. Paul, reliable, while the light of anyone else is not reliable? The funny thing is this, Paul contradicts himself without knowing that he's contradicting himself, which is like hilarious and funny, honestly. The thing is, look, Paul never met Jesus in his life. After Jesus, there was so many people who wrote gospels. There was tons of gospels. The gospel of Mary, gospel of Barnabas, the gospel of Thomas, the gospel of infancy, gospel of Jesus, the gospel. There is a countless number of gospels that was written down. The church selected 4 of them. Athanasius specifically selected the number of the books in the 27 books in the New Testament. Now, the church selecting some books and not selecting some books does not mean this is divine revelation. Now God is the one who's selecting which is which. Authors of those gospels that wrote the gospels, none of them said that we are inspiring we're getting inspiration, direct revelation from God.
Okay.
Where does the authors of the gospels claim that they are getting the direct revelation from God?
Yeah, because they claim to have been inspired by the Holy Spirit.
Where do they say that?
That's true.
No. See, now I want the gospel, the authors of the gospel, not Paul. Paul claiming that about them is irrelevant. It's like me claiming something about you later on when I came. I didn't claim it for myself, so it doesn't matter what someone else comes later on. The authors of the Gospels do not claim the writing revelation from God. In fact, they say the opposite. If you open the first, Luke, chapter 1, what does Luke say? He said, Luke says many people have been writing what was going on, what they believe is going on from eyewitnesses. So you know what? It seemed good to me. It's a good idea for me as well to write. That's what he's saying. That's saying when I have knowledge of the events, because I have knowledge of all of the events that took place on this, and that's what I'm going to write as well. He doesn't say God have inspired me to write this gospel that is ought to be followed by the creation. He doesn't say that. Nor does any of the authors of the gospel say that. Now we said first Paul is contradicting himself. Second thing is this: why should we follow what Paul says when he opposed Jesus, when he went against the teachings of Jesus? Why, when Jesus told us not to trust him? Jesus said you shouldn't trust people like Paul. Do you know that?
It is because he told the Jews not to follow the customs.
Know very well. So it's good. You know already. I don't even need to tell you. I like this. This is very good. He told the people, the Jews, not to follow the commandments, and literally Jesus said, "Whoever teaches you not to follow the law is not going to enter the kingdom of heaven." And this is literally what Paul was doing. So it is literally Jesus is warning from Paul. So not only that Paul is contradicting himself about saying, "Okay, follow me only." The reason Paul said this, do you know why Paul said this? Because as I said to you, at the time of Paul, there was many people writing.
Okay.
There was a competition, literally. So everyone was writing. So what Paul wanted is Paul wanted people to follow him. So if he wants people to follow him, he has to say, don't trust anyone else who writes anything else. He's not really concerned about the future, by the way. He was concerned about his own time, his own church, the people not following his commands, the other people disagreeing with him, other people writing other things. He was concerned about what he taught. That's why he said this nonsense about, you know what, if anyone else writes anything else, he should not be trusting them. But he himself is not trustworthy. He disagreed with the disciples of Jesus, James and Peter. And he had no authority over them. They had authority over him. They summoned him and they said to him, go shave your head. And he is following like a... They did not give him any position of someone who's receiving direct revelation from God that is ought to be followed to begin with. But this happened later on when the church introduced all of this nonsense into the teachings of Jesus, where they give this respect and honor and following to Paul that he did not deserve when he was not even given when he was alive. So the thing is this: you should reject anything that Paul says regarding this, because he is not a reliable person to begin with, and it's irrelevant what he said about what you should trust, what you shouldn't trust. What's relevant is what Jesus said, even if you even have what Jesus said. But the thing is this, let me tell you something now. Let's use the Bible that you believe in. Do you know the Bible says, because the Prophet ﷺ, let's ask this question now. If the Prophet ﷺ is not a true prophet of God, what would he be?
Well, some people, one Christian theory is that he could be a false prophet to divert Christians from the Christian idea of the truth.
Yeah, so false prophet meaning what? He's lying, he's learning from Satan. What is it? He's lying, let's say, or he's learning from Satan. Any other options?
No,
okay.
I'm not.
Because you cannot say that he was crazy or delusional, this and that. Anyone who studied his life, we know that he did not have these symptoms. He was he was clearly leading armies. He literally led whole communities. So these very ridiculous claims that shouldn't be even entertained, you know. But the only claims that can be entertained is to claim that he was not saying the truth, meaning he was lying, or he was learning it from Satan, blah blah blah, which also means he's lying in a way. So the thing is this, okay. Or he was deceived by Satan, which means he's not lying, but he's giving you the teaching.
Yeah, that was what my query was. If it was.
Okay. So first, lying. What would he lie for? What is the reason why would he lie for?
So from the Christian understanding, I thought it was Satan wants to do everything he can to divert people away.
No,
from
Satan point. So Satan claim is the second claim. I'm saying him lying himself without Satan now.
Oh, okay. What his motive could be.
Yes. You know, in psychology they have reasons. They say reasons for why humans lie, right? No, people don't lie for it. It can be fear, it can be gain, it can be many things.
It could be power. I don't know.
Okay, so he's seeking power. Let's test this hypothetical situation. Prophet ﷺ was lying because he was seeking power. Okay. Prophet ﷺ was respected in his community. They had two titles for him. Before revelation, now we're saying, yeah? They used to call him as-Sadiq al-Amin, the trustworthy, the honest. When they were building the Kaaba, in which they believed was a holy place of God, when they had a dispute on who places the last stone, they went to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. He already had a say in the community. They went to him because he was trustworthy, the honest, and they respected him and respected his decision. Then he said to each group, you hold a part of the cloth, and we put the stone and both of you hold it, and then he put the stone himself. So this was how his community looked at him. He was from the purest lineage of Quraysh, the caretakers of the Kaaba. He already had a pure lineage. He was already respected in the community and the society. So this was his case before revelation. When he received revelation, he became the opposite. He became persecuted for 30 years because he's telling his people to not worship idols, to not worship other than God, to worship God alone. So he went from being respected in the community and the trustworthy, the honest, into the people now, everyone being against him, trying to kill him, trying to have a bad image of him, trying to persecute him, trying to kick him out. So it is the exact opposite. And when he was calling the people to do that, they came to him. And they offered him exactly what you said. They offered him power. They said, if you need power, we'll make you a king over us. If you need women, we'll give you our women. If you want money, we'll give you money. You just say, we'll give it to you. But stop calling the people away from worshipping the idols, the religion of their forefathers. And then the Prophet refused. He said, this is a command from God. I'm following God's teachings. It's not my choice to follow, to take what you are offering me. When the son of the Prophet ﷺ, Ibrahim, died, his son died, and then there was an eclipse happening. The people in the community, they said, look, this is evidence that he's a prophet of God. Because when his son died, the eclipse happened. What would a liar say in this situation?
That's a sign from God.
Yeah, of course. You see, look, God, he made the eclipse for me because of my son. You should guys follow me and believe in me now. That's what a liar would say. The Prophet ﷺ said the exact opposite. He said, this is a sign from God that does not happen for the life or death of anyone. He said, if you see it, you rush to thanking God and praying and prostrating to God. This does not happen because of the death of my son or the death of anyone or the life of anyone. This is a sign that God does. So a liar would take, because they are the one who's saying this has happened because of his son. He doesn't even have to make the claim. All he has to say is, yes, you're right. But no. If he was a liar, he would say, yeah, of course. This is because of me. So when you look at the life of the Prophet ﷺ, he was offered all of these things that you're talking about. He was offered every reason to be the leader over the people, to have money, to have women, to have everything. So why would he, can you say now, learning about all of this, can you say that he's lying?
No.
Okay, so he's not lying. So we have another option now. The only option we have is that he's been deceived by Satan. Okay, now the Bible disagrees with you. Can I tell you why the Bible disagrees with you?
Yes.
Because in the Bible, the people were saying about Jesus that he's from Satan.
Yeah, the Pharisees were. Yeah.
Then what did Jesus respond to them? Do you know how he responded?
I can't remember the verse, but I know what you're referring to.
He said the house cannot be divided against its own self.
Oh, okay, that was it.
Meaning, what he's saying to them is that Satan is not going to teach you things that goes against Satan. If Satan is the one who is telling me this, he's not going to tell you the things I'm telling you because these things are good. And Satan teaches you to do bad. So it's impossible for me to be someone from Satan. So the Prophet ﷺ, he told the people, you know what? The Prophet ﷺ came and his people, all of them were idol worshippers. Yeah. Does Satan like all the idol worship or does he hate idol worship?
He likes them.
So why would he teach Prophet Muhammad, go to these people and say to them, Stop worshipping idols and believe in Jesus. By the way, you have to believe in Jesus. You believe in Moses and Prophet Muhammad and believe in me and worship God alone and do not associate partners with him. Be good to your neighbor, pay charity, fast for the sake of God, free servants and slaves. Do not have racism amongst your community and society. Satan is your enemy. This is what the Prophet was teaching. Satan is your greatest enemy, so take him as an enemy. Seek a refugee every time when you recite the Quran from Satan. Satan was your enemy from the beginning, from the time of Adam, and he gives them the Quran telling him about how he's their enemy and how what tactics that he used. Would Satan be doing this?
No.
Okay, so it's impossible for it to be, unless this is a good Satan that I don't know about now, like Satan that wants good for the people, So it is impossible for you to say that this is from Satan.
Yeah.
So what is the only option? Okay, go ahead. Yeah, what do you want to say?
The only reason is because so the fundamental belief of Christianity and the way it's founded is Jesus came down, he's God, he died for your sins, etc. I don't even need to explain it to you, you already know it. And obviously Islam came 600 years later. It has the opposite belief that Jesus didn't die. I think that's when it got me thinking, maybe is it to divert the people from the truth, because it's got the opposite.
Excellent. But still, that does not answer the points that I was making. So if it was from Satan, he could not have been lying. We already said. If it was from Satan, then it is he would not teach you good teachings. If he's diverting people from the truth, he cannot just divert them from one thing and then teach them to do everything else good and to believe in Jesus. Literally, why would he teach them to believe in Jesus and to believe that his mother was a righteous woman, and he was the Messiah, and that he had miraculous birth, and he has a second coming, that he's going to come back? He's not going to teach them any of these things. But the thing is this: where is that belief that you just mentioned on the mouth of Jesus?
That he is God.
Yeah, that he is God and people should worship him, which is what you said. Where did Jesus say that?
There are verses in John, but it is ambiguous.
Okay, so you agree that there is. Okay, but are there explicit verses that he isn't God?
No.
Okay, let me give you one.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, okay. So we've got no explicit verses that he is God. We've got explicit verses that he is not God, and we've got explicit verses that he's a prophet. So how is Islam teaching you something against the truth when it's literally teaching you what Jesus was saying, even in the Bible, if you want to accept it?
Yeah.
Because Jesus said he was worshiping God, he's praying to God. He said the only true God is the Father. He said, I have a God that I'm coming back to. He said, I don't know the hour. He said, the Father is greater than I. He said, you worship God alone. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. Everything is about God.
So I guess, so why does it say in the Quran that Jesus wasn't killed or crucified?
Because he wasn't.
But
so the thing is this: the whole belief of Christianity itself, it is not accurate, and that's why it focuses on the death of Jesus, because it bases it on something called the original sin, which obviously you're aware of, and without the death of Jesus, Christianity cannot function. Yeah, that's why they have to.
That was the main point I was trying to make.
Exactly. Yeah. But this is my point: is like. This is why Christians would refuse anything except to accept this idea that he died. But the thing is this: we would simply say, very, 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 very simply to the people, is this idea that you have of the original sin itself is unjust, and it will never be from God, because God is a just God. And he said in that same Bible that you read that he does not hold the Father, the responsibility of the Son, of the sin of the Son, and the Son the sin of the Father. So if God does not hold the Son the sin of his Father, and vice versa, it would not make any sense for anyone to claim that we have the sin of our father Adam. Okay? And it would not make sense that none of the prophets was teaching this teaching, that you are born with original sin in the Old Testament, and that someone is going to come save your lives. This whole concept is completely ridiculous, because if God wanted to forgive the people, he would just forgive them from the beginning and put them in paradise. Why does he need to wait all of these thousands of years, sending prophets that none of them have taught anything to do with the Trinity, anything to do with Jesus dying for your sins, nothing of that? Teach them completely different teachings, and all of a sudden he says, you know what, I decided to send my son now to die to forgive you. But he can just forgive you from the beginning and put you in paradise. Why all of this nonsense?
Yeah, but to forgetting the religious evidence, like in the Bible, that Jesus dead, there are historical evidence about Jesus' death. How do we disprove them?
There is no. Okay, so first, there is no eyewitnesses for the death of Jesus. Let's put that. There is no evidence from no eyewitnesses from the death of Jesus. That's a fact.
I thought the Romans killed Jesus, so would they not be eyewitnesses?
No, but when I say there is no eyewitnesses, there is no something recorded in history that we can verify to show that there is eyewitnesses saying this claim. That's number one. Number two, when you say Jesus died or didn't die, and history records that Jesus died, this is what the Quran is saying. The Quran is saying it appeared to the people as if Jesus was killed. Okay? So if Allah is saying, وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُمْ, it appeared to them so, meaning it appeared to them that Jesus died, it would make perfect sense that history records that he died. Okay, but not only that, even if it did not appear to them, historians will still record that he died because he's a human being. And all historians record humans die. Like,
no, that's
like
true.
this is a very basic point that a lot of Christians don't understand. Of course, historians agree he died because humans die. Historians don't write miracles; they write reality according to them because they don't believe in miracles. They don't introduce that into history. So what they will write is like he's a human and humans die, therefore Jesus died. Yeah, no problem. There was, by the way, tons of people called Jesus claiming to be divine and messiahs and this at the time of Jesus, and they were all killed by the Roman Empire. He was not the only one, by the way. So history does record, yes, there was a person called Jesus who was killed. We have an issue, don't have an issue with that. As I already mentioned, the Quran says that people believed he died. History, of course, will record that a human being died because human beings die.
Yeah.
So there is nothing there in history that opposes the Quran, really.
Okay.
And the reason we believe he didn't die is because we already can establish that Prophet Muhammad is a messenger of God and the Quran is the truth. So if it says he didn't die in reality and it is against what people believe, but they still believed it, then we take the Quran to be the truth based on the evidence that it is the truth.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So I was watching the previous not the interview, the questionnaire with the Anthony dude, and I was just following on from his question about when people leave Islam. Why is it that they are punished if they leave Islam? Why can't they go without being punished? Why do they have to be punished?
Yeah, well, the one who determines what should be done, shouldn't be done is God. And Allah has his wisdom behind the commands that he makes. But the thing is this. No one can know whether someone left Islam or not unless he prophesies or he says out loud that he left Islam.
Okay.
How can I know that he left Islam? This is something in the heart, isn't it? So a person has to say out loud, I've left the religion. Has to say it outwardly. And when you say you left Islam now, that has an effect on the people around you. It has an effect on your community. It has an effect on the people around you that hear this information. It's not as simple as just one individual now. You understand?
Yeah.
This becomes a societal thing. And when someone leaves Islam now, he does not abide no longer. And this, we're saying that punishment is only in an Islamic state where Islamic laws being applied. So if he leaves Islam in that land, then he doesn't believe in the laws of Islam and he wants to go against all of these laws. So by definition, he wants to cause disharmony in society, which therefore he would want to try his best to have other groups of people who also left Islam and unite with them so they can rebel against these rules that they don't believe is from God. Because in an Islamic state, in an Islamic Sharia state, there will be laws. You cannot be like committing fornication and all of these different things. And if he wants to do these things, obviously he wants to do them. He doesn't believe Islam is the truth and he likes desires. So he would want to try his best to cause disunity in the community, in society. It's not going to stop at him. But in Islam, if someone leaves Islam and keeps it to himself and doesn't say anything to anyone, there's no punishments in this life for him.
Okay, yeah.
There's only punishments in the afterlife for him. Do you get the point? Because he's no longer now, he's not professing anything in the community. In fact, at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there was people who were like this. They're hypocrites. They're showing as if they're believers, but they are disbelievers in their heart. And the Prophet ﷺ had a list of the names. And then the people came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, why are you not killing those people? Okay? The Prophet ﷺ, he said that I do not want people to say that I was killing my companions, my friends, or my people. That's number one. And number two, the scholars, they said it is because they are outwardly showing that they're believers. And in Islam, you can only judge the appearance of someone. You do not know what's in their heart. So if someone says he's a Muslim, you have to accept he's a Muslim. And that's why in a battlefield, one time, one companion, he was in war and he was going to kill someone, and that person he was going to kill in war, he said, I testify there's nothing worthy of worship except Allah. But that companion killed him. And the Prophet ﷺ became so angry that companion said, I wish I did not accept Islam yet. Meaning, except after the incident, not before. Because after the incident, he's going to forgive me. But now I'm a Muslim. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, he completely said to him, أَشَغَقْتَ عَنْ قَلْبِهِ, did you split his heart open to see whether he is truly believing or saying it out of fear? Because when the Prophet said, why did you kill him? He said, he's just saying it to protect himself. So the Prophet said, did you open his heart and see why he was saying it, his intention? So the thing is, you can only judge the people with their intentions. In an Islamic Sharia state, yes, there is a law that if someone leaves Islam, and that has to be public because he has to profess that he left Islam, or otherwise we do not know that he left Islam. And then that person, as I said many times, is given a period of repentance. The person who punishes him is the state, not the individuals. He's given a period of repentance that is minimum 3 days. And then he's asked to come back to Islam. Or he will be punished. So he can say, I'm just coming back to Islam, and that's it.
Do you know?
So the thing is, I don't believe, I really don't believe, even if I left Islam personally, say me, God forbid, I left Islam and I was living under a Sharia, it's very easy for me to not be punished.
Yeah.
Because I need to want to be punished.
Okay,
I need to go out and say, I don't care about anything, kill me now, I'm gonna die. Yeah? That's the only way it can happen from an Islamic point of view. Allah is not trying to punish the people.
Okay.
But He knows what causes cohesion in society, what works for the community, and He knows more than we know. So that law is there for a reason that Allah knows.
The next question is about Islamic conquest. So how did Islam actually spread in the early?
In many ways, Some of Islam spread through war. In the beginning, in early days, it was mostly through wars that took place. You had the Persian and Roman Empire.
Yeah.
And an empire, by definition, is a civilization that attempts to expand. So the Romans and the Persians are already expanding their empires. They're not waiting for you to say hello to them. They're already expanding. You get the point? And the Arabs were in between, not the Romans and the Persians. And there are many narrations that mentions that they were afraid that the Romans are coming to attack them. And the Prophet ﷺ was already preparing an army before his death because of that Abu Bakr used to fight the Romans. So there were already civilizations around them that are fighting them. So the Muslims fought those major civilizations of the Roman and Persian Empire. And they took land when they won battles, when they were fighting against the Roman and Persian Empire. So this is how partly Islam was expanded. But this is the thing. When Muslims take over a country, they did not force anyone to accept Islam.
Okay.
So when we're talking about the government now. So Muslims, when they were fighting the wars, they defeat the army because they're not allowed to kill women or children or anything like that, even in war. So they fight the army, men army, and then defeat it. They take over the government. They took over the government, then the people can stay on their religion. There is no forcing of anyone to accept Islam. This is not a teaching. This is explicitly prohibited in the Quran. Allah mentions that in chapter 2, verse 256. There's no compulsion in religion, in acceptance of religion. You cannot force anyone to accept Islam. So they took over the government of these lands.
Sorry,
Yes.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Can I ask why they had to conquer it? So why, so why did they conquer the Roman and the Persian Empire? Why was it spread by war? So why couldn't it have been? Is it dawah? Is that what it's called when you spread?
Yeah.
Islam?
So there are multiple reasons that can be put. First, I'll give you first reason is that these civilizations were already expanding. So whether Muslims went to fight them themselves or not, they were going to come attack them to take over the deserts of Arabia because they were in between them already, and these civilizations were already expanding. They were the two biggest empire at the time. So either way, this was going to happen. If Muslims waited, if they didn't do it themselves first, they were going to be attacked either way. That's the first thing I mentioned. The second thing is there's two types of what we call jihad. I'm sure you heard this word before. Jihad literally means to struggle in the Arabic language. But it can also mean to struggle in the sake of God and fighting in war. So there is two types of them. One of them is it is an offensive type. And that offensive happens when the message of the Prophet, if he's a true prophet of God and he's sent to the whole creation, then you, Rosie, and me, Muhammad, and everyone watching has a right to hear his message.
Yeah.
You have the right to hear the message. No one forces you to accept it, but you have a right to hear the message because he is a true messenger of God. So you have a right to hear the truth because you would look for the truth and I would look and everyone would look for the truth. So we have a right to hear the message of the truth. So if a country prohibits Muslims from hearing the message of the truth, then Muslims would fight that country to spread the message. And if that country is persecuting its people, that's another reason for Muslims to fight that country, to remove persecutions of the government. So the Romans were already persecuting. The Persians were already persecuting their people, and they were preventing anyone from preaching Islam or coming to their countries or saying the message of the truth to the people. The Prophet ﷺ sent a letter to the Roman and Persian king and other kings as well. And the Persian king ripped the letter of the Prophet ﷺ, The Roman king did not accept because his people around him were Christians, so they were not going to accept it. So the thing is this. The Roman Empire, I'll give you a last example because I know you want to say something. The Roman Empire had control over Egypt, for example. I'll give an example for Egypt because there's a book written by the Coptic Church today that talks about this history in their own Coptic Church. When the Romans had Egypt, before Amr ibn al-As comes to Egypt and takes over Egypt, the high priest was killed, chopped to pieces, burnt and thrown in the sea.
By who?
This is how he was killed by the Roman Empire. He didn't just kill him. He chopped him to pieces, he burned him alive, and he threw him in the sea.
Was the Roman Empire Christian? At this point, was it Christian?
The Mukhawqis, the person that was there, was not accepting Coptics, the land. The high priest escaped to the deserts. Okay? They ran away. When they ran away, when Amr ibn al-As came, because you know what they were doing to the churches? It was the bins. Literally, people take the rubbish and go throw it in the bin. This is how they were treating the churches in Egypt at the time. Literally. So when Amr ibn al-As took over the land, he sent a letter. He said, go, send a letter to the high priest to come back, that he's now safe. And he cleaned for them their places of worship. That's why you have the earliest churches in the world are in Syria, or in Egypt. Yes, are in the Middle East, many of them. The very early churches, because they were not destroyed by Muslims. They were left. So this is how Islam treated them. This is how Islam treated the people. So the people were already being persecuted. So in Islam, it's an obligation for Muslims to remove persecution from other individuals. And as I said, it's already a right for everyone to hear the message of the truth. So because of that reason, Muslims will fight other governments specifically to make Islam enter that land. They will fight against governments, male combatants, not women. They're not going to kill women. They're not going to kill children. They're not going to persecute anyone. And when they take over the government, they cannot force anyone to accept Islam forcibly.
Oh, okay. Was the Roman Empire at this point when, like you said, they killed the high priest? Were they Christian?
Yeah, they were, of course.
Okay. So they were killing all the Christians and persecuting all the Christians.
This is history. Open now at the time of the 630, what was happening to the Christians in Egypt. So this is not something I'm making up. This is like literally history.
I'm just clarifying. I was just shocked. That's all.
Because look, even in Christianity, let me tell you something interesting now. Even in Christianity, what was happening between Ireland and like the Protestants and the Catholics in history?
Yeah.
Just because someone is quote unquote Christian does not mean their tradition and what they believe is accepted by other Christians.
No, yeah, that's true.
You can investigate what was happening literally at that time to the people, the persecution. Because I'm saying the Christians, the Coptic Christians of Egypt, have written this in their own books. So the Coptic Christians of Egypt do not, none of them deny this reality. Okay, none of them saying this was not happening. None of them saying that when Amr ibn al-As came, he persecuted us. All of them admit to the fact. That's why do you know how many Christians are there today in Egypt?
No, I don't know the figure.
Over 50 million. The reason because Egypt was a Muslim country from the time of Amr ibn al-As until today.
Okay.
The fact that you have this large number of Christians is by itself evidence and testimony of how they were treated until this day.
Oh, okay. So, they were treated well, like by the Muslims.
Yeah, you know the president, the current president of Egypt, he built them the biggest cathedral in the Middle East in 2019 or 20. He didn't build a mosque. He went and built a biggest cathedral of the Middle East. This is how much they're treated. Even though this is not correct from an Islamic point of view, by the way, but still he did this, and they are even treated better than the Muslims. I'll tell you that because I've lived in Egypt for a while. They've even treated by the government, by the police. They're treated better than the other people. There was a person calling to Islam on a YouTube channel, and he was put in prison by the government just because he's calling against Christianity. Because they made a charge against him, inciting hatred towards religion, even though he doesn't incite. All of his videos are online, by the way. And they put him in prison just because Christians reported him. So they are even treated better than Muslims, I tell you, in the Islam, so let alone being treated well. But the point is still this. We don't shy away, as I said, from this idea that Muslims believe in spreading the truth, meaning if someone is preventing others from spreading the truth, we'll fight the government and we'll allow everyone to hear the message of the truth. We don't shy away from this and remove persecutions from other people.
Okay, that's fine. This is a question about Christianity because again, I'm still learning. Honestly, I don't know a lot. Do you know if there are any Aramaic manuscripts of the Bible?
There is no old ones. There is Aramaic, but it's later on.
Oh, okay. So there's no early manuscripts.
No, absolutely not.
Oh, okay. Then there's a question about hadiths. So how do you know if a hadith is a strong hadith and a weak hadith?
There's a video on my channel. It's called like Dismantling Hadith Rejectors or something like that. I think you should watch that video, the end part of the video, which talks about the historicity of hadith, where I go on in detail because it can take some time for me to explain this, right?
No, that's fine. I think I need to start watching your videos as well because, again, honestly, I was introduced to you like today. This is
okay.
And that's so I will start watching your videos.
Yeah, you can watch it, but if you watch that specific video specifically, towards the end, it's like 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes or something like that. I go about the historicity of hadith, why we know for a fact this has to be accurate and authentic. But now my question to you now, or do you still have questions? Tell me before I give you my question.
No, I think I need to. Thing is, I don't have enough knowledge to ask more questions. That's the problem with me. Like, I do, but then I don't at the same time. Like, I know the basics of like a lot of things, but not in depth. So that's why I want to expand my knowledge. And like you said, God willing, one day if I am to convert and make that big decision, I want to be sure about it. I don't want to do it for any other reasons. I want to be sure that I'm making the right decision.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's good. You can do your research then, inshallah, based on what I said. And hopefully when I upload that video, you can research. If you got any information you want to check, you can check. And then, you can make your decision in the end. Okay, I'll let you go now. If you got any other questions, you can come back. You know, after you see the video, you're welcome to come back anytime, okay? Nice talking to you, okay? Bye-bye.
Take care, bye-bye.
قال يا عشيرتي جميعكم حتى ابنتي لا أغني عنكم فاعبدوا إلهكم ووحدوا.
إذا أعجبك الفيديو لا تنسى الإعجاب والتعليق، ولكي يصلك كل جديد اشترك الآن.